My name is Kerianne Druker. I am a speech pathologist and am currently completing my PhD in the area of stuttering disorders. Today, ahead of Stuttering Awareness Day on the 22nd of October, we are very fortunate to be hearing from Chahak Garg with his own personal journey of stuttering. He'll be talking to us about the common misconceptions that he faces on a daily basis being a person who stutters, and give us some advice about how we can interact with a person who stutters when we encounter them on a daily basis. We are truly very privileged to be able to capture this powerful message, and we hope that this message is disseminated at large with the wider community and can help you out the next time that you meet a person who stutters. So, tell us, Chahak, tell us your story about your journey with stuttering.
Okay, so Karin, my parents sent me to boarding school when I was 9 years old, and over the weekend we used to watch movies, and on one occasion the movie had an actor with a stutter, and I and everyone who was sitting in the room, we all found out that I also stutter because I spoke the same way as the actor. And so that was the point I found out that I have a stutter. And from that point in time, everyone began to tease me. And it was a funny movie. And why it was funny was because whenever the actor, he was speaking different things, and it was misinterpreted by the person on the other side, and then he was getting into more troubles, and so it was a kind of funny movie. And then from that point in time, all my friends, when we used to have arguments, they all started to tease me, and then it definitely had a very negative impact on me, and because it was not something good to have. It is a disability. It's not a gold medal. It's a disability, and definitely I could not read aloud my books to the class, and so I used to hide my books wherever I could find a space, and I could not answer the questions even though I knew the answers, and I could not even ask the questions if I didn't understood anything.
Wow, and that's quite common for older children, adolescents who stutter. They feel like because they might be perceived in the incorrect way in class, they actually know the answer, but they don't want to give the information because they're worried about how their stutter might come out.
Yes, and most of the times my concentration was my full concentration was on formulating the words, not actually understanding what the passage is.
Absolutely.
So I had to reread the whole thing again, and so it definitely affected everything. I could not order the foods I wanted to eat, so I always ended up eating the foods which I could easily speak from the menu. It was difficult to socialize, even back in India and even in Australia, with anyone, because I just could not speak.
Wow. So was your stutter a lot more severe when you realized that you were a stutterer?
Yes, it was very severe, very, very, very severe. I just could not speak. I used to speak very few words, or if I used to speak, I didn't used to speak what I really want to speak. I used to speak what I can say in that particular time.
Wow. Yeah, and again, that is common with people who stutter, because often, as we were chatting about before, you find you have to circumlocute or go around, find a different pathway to get your words out. So you're using so much of your energy actually just trying not to stutter and picking words that you can say.
Yes. Means even when I go to order a meal, they ask, do you want to have a small, regular, or a large? If I cannot say large, I will say regular.
Yeah.
And if I cannot say regular, I will say large. but there are times when I cannot say large or regular because L and R both are sometimes difficult for me to speak, so I end up ordering small.
Small, yeah. Yeah, so in that situation, it's funny, but I guess it really highlights how it can actually be limiting in terms of actually
Yes.
how you want to live your life. You might have to, it can affect you in daily situations.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely it does.
And you did mention, I know that we worked together when you were at the Curtin Clinic. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience at the Curtin Clinic?
Yes, so I was 21 years when I came to your clinic, and it was the first time I met someone else who has a stutter. For 21 years, I thought I'm the only one in the world who has a stutter.
Wow, that's fantastic that you were able to actually not only work on your speech, which I'm sure you'll talk to us about, but actually realize that there's other people like you.
Yes. And I think the most important thing when I came to your clinic was to accept it, that I have a stutter.
Yeah.
I think acceptance is the foundation, because if you don't accept it, then you will not work on it, and once you accept something, then you can work on it to improve it.
Absolutely. And do you feel that stuttering is just a feature of who you are? Do you let it hold you back?
Yes,
still to this day, or?
It is a feature. It is a funny feature because it is very portable and very compatible. So, so it goes with
it
you
follows you
everywhere.
around. Yeah.
It follows you everywhere. It doesn't matter where you travel, where you go. It follows you everywhere, and means, as much as I would like to say my stutter has taught me a lot, I will still not want it. I would prefer to learn all the good things which my stutter taught me in a different way.
Of course.
From a more positive way.
Absolutely, of course. And can you tell us about what you do and how your stutter affects that, your occupation and your job?
Okay, so my first ever job in life was at Hungry Jack's, and I was nominated as the employee of the month, and then I requested my manager that I want to do the front counter, take orders and stuff like that, and which he said no, because I was stutter. So I ended up going away from the job.
Wow.
And but now I work as a assistant accountant, and I report to the CEO, general manager, CFO, and I work with 5 different department managers so I have to talk every day, with customers, with suppliers, and over the phone, face to face, with everyone. It requires lots of talking, and there are times when I'm not able to get my point across the way I want.
Yes. So what do you do when you feel like you can't get your words out and you can't get your point across?
I just don't speak, or it takes me a long time to take my words out or get my point across, or I will send an email afterwards.
Yes.
Actually I missed that point, I think. So I email everyone.
Yeah. Because that way you can get your words out exactly
Yes.
how you want them, and you don't have to
Definitely.
worry about them getting stuck. And when you were saying about, I know it's fantastic that you have talking so much every day now to all these people that you have to report to. Do you disclose to them that you have a stutter?
Yes. I disclose in my interview as well that I have a stutter, and every new employee who joins, I tell them I have a stutter, and I don't tell them in a way for them to feel sorry for me, just so they know I have a stutter, and I might take a bit long to speak sometimes, and so every single person I meet with, I always find a way to tell them I have a stutter, either in the start or either in 5 minutes in the conversation or in 20 minutes in the conversation, and they say me, we didn't realize you have a stutter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I always tell every single person I meet with that I have a stutter.
Yeah. And is that to make your words come out easier, or is that really just because you want to advocate for people?
Yes, mainly it is about creating awareness.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of misconceptions about stuttering, so I want to address that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Can you talk to us about some of the misconceptions that you've experienced or that you know exist?
Okay, as I said, when I was not able to speak answers, even if I knew them, I was considered as incompetent.
Yeah.
But I'm not incompetent.
No.
I know what I want to speak. It is just that I take a bit long to speak. And one of the misconceptions, and the second misconception is people think people who stutter, they stutter all the time. We don't stutter all the time.
Exactly.
There are only a few occasions we stutter.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people also think, they cannot be a good CEOs or bosses but we have seen, Jack Welch, the CEO and chairman of General Electrics, and means he took the company from $18 billion to $400 billion, and then we have Joe Biden, the 47th Vice President of the United States. Now he is a candidate for the president for the 2020 election. And we have lots of famous people in Australia, in America, overseas, everywhere, who are actually doing so well. And so our words might take a bit more long to come out, but it does not decrease the value. It does not decrease the value of our words, their worth, the idea that it contains.
Absolutely. And I think that is, a common misconception, even when I'm lecturing to students or even if I'm talking to parents of children who stutter. They often don't realize that it's all the information is up here.
Yeah.
The children, the adults, they all know what they want to say.
Yeah.
You get stuck with the speech muscles that are stumbling and tripping up. So I think that's a fantastic misconception to really talk to the community about, is that people who stutter, it's not like they're incompetent or they don't know what they want to say. It's all up there. It gets stuck when they're actually trying to produce sounds.
And I normally put it in a different way as well, that our mind works way faster than our tongue, that our tongue cannot keep up with our fast mind.
Yes.
So it gets stumbled.
Yeah. So you're even more competent.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Means I am a lot better than a lot of my friends who used to speak fluent. Having fluency does not make your communication skills much better. The biggest communication problem is not stuttering. It's not that you cannot speak. The biggest communication problem is when you listen not to understand someone, but just to reply to their response.
Yeah.
So the biggest communication that is the biggest communication problem, not speaking. Communication is about listening. It is not about speaking.
Absolutely. That's a really interesting point, because I think a lot of people who stutter, who haven't maybe quite accepted it as you have, probably feel like their communication is impacted so much. But when you actually realize, well, it's only a component of communication, and that communication is so much deeper. Look at you, look how far you've come in your life already. So I think that's really important.
Yes, definitely. And one of the other things is that, my stuttering has made me to connect with the other person more better way. Mm-hmm. Because everyone has their own thing they are dealing with. It can be their relationships, their house, their children, smoking problems, drinking problems, health problems. It can be anything. Either they or their close family member has something and which they are thinking about all the time. So every single person has something, and as soon as I tell someone I have a stutter, they know I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
So they don't have to hide their issues from me to show them that I am perfect.
Of course.
They can be open with me.
Yeah.
And it helps both of us to that will connect better.
Mm-hmm.
And people do business with people who they like, not that someone is just speak more fluent.
Of course. So that's a positive experience that you've had as a result of the
Yes,
stuttering.
definitely.
You feel like you can connect with people maybe on a deeper level than if you didn't have a stutter and you weren't able to disclose something that you're working on.
Yes.
What other advice would you give to people who stutter?
I think one of the advice is that they are not the only one.
Yeah.
You know, there are 77 million people in the world who stutter. One in every 100 people have a stutter. And to start early, you know, not wait for 2 years, 3 years, or something else to actually start working on your speech, to approach a speech pathologist, start early as soon as possible.
Definitely. And we do know that if we do get in really early at preschool age,
Yeah.
we can have fantastic success with interventions.
Definitely. And one of the other things is, it is not who they are. It is just something they are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
It is not who they are. Stuttering is not who I am. It is a very small component which I am dealing with.
Of course.
I used to think I am a stutterer. I can't speak, so I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it is just a very small component of my life. Means I can study. I can I can play sports. Means the thing is that you can become better in other parts of your life.
Absolutely. What a fantastically powerful message, because I think when you accept that there's something that you're working on, whatever it might be, that actually helps you to be committed to move on and work on it, and then work on other aspects of your life. But if stuttering is such a massive component of the person and they become a stutterer, they find it quite difficult to probably reach their goals and their aspirations in life. Yeah, that's really a very, very powerful message. Thank you. What about just to the members of the general public? Do you have any suggestions that you think that they might be able to implement when they talk to a person who stutters?
Yes, I would just say that, see, we understand that you guys are busy. Everyone is busy, and it can be very frustrating for you guys to listen to us. But trust me, it is more frustrating for us. It is more frustrating for me, for someone who is stuttering. And just to give us more time, just have some patience, not speak anything, not complete our sentences, not say slow down, take breath, just don't speak anything, just wait for 10 seconds, just wait for 5 seconds. And that this is not who we are, as I said, there are lot of misconceptions. And so this is the only point which I would like to say, that just give us an opportunity. Otherwise, you might be missing out of something which we have to say, which can benefit you.
Absolutely, that's really, really powerful words. And I think, as you say, so many people, the awareness of stuttering is so limited that they don't know how to respond, and they do say, they think that helping the person to finish their sentence is helpful, but in reality it's not. It's frustrating.
Today, two people, I'm talking about just today.
Just today, yeah.
2 people have completed my sentence. I was thankful, but I was not thankful.
Yeah. And when it's a work colleague, you can't. Do you have the conversations with your work colleagues and tell them that you'd like them not to finish off your sentences?
No, I have not said them. I've not said them this thing.
Yeah, and it is complicated. I'm sure with your family members and friends, you're able to be more upfront about it, but it's a lot. I guess it's more sensitive to talk about in a work environment.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the other misconceptions that I think is still around today is the cause of stuttering. What do you think caused your stutter?
See, no one in the world knows what causes stuttering.
Yeah, exactly.
There are so many smart people in the world doing research, and all around the world, no one knows what causes stuttering. Yes, things such as public speaking or time pressure or social situations, they can make it worse. We know what can make it worse, but they don't cause stuttering. No one causes stuttering. There is no research-based finding which has come to the fact that this is what causes stuttering. There is no magic pill. There are no medicines available to calm me down. There are no medicines.
And
we don't know what causes stuttering.
One thing that I will add to that is that I guess we don't know exactly what causes it, but what we do know is that there's a strong genetic inheritance of stuttering. So often people who stutter do have a first or second degree relative who stutters as well. And people inherit that genetic predisposition to stutter, and then different things in the environment can cause the person to
Yes.
start stuttering, which, you know, we don't know. We know that it might be it might be the child's temperament, it might be the what happens in the child's environment or their school life, but it is actually an inherited predisposition. So, you know, the misconceptions around it being, you know, a psychological issue within the person, not true at all. There's no evidence to support that. It's just like any other disability that's inherited most of the time in some way, and then what actually causes it to be turned on or to come out, that we're still trying to find out, and that we're still looking at all of these environmental factors. Yeah.
And Miss, I think one of the other misconception is that people think it's a habit, and if we put enough hard work, we can overcome it. But it's not a habit. You know, habit happens. You can make something a habit when you do it again and again. That not intentionally. No one stutters again and again intentionally, so it's not a habit. And I just missed the second point which I mentioned. I think, and it's not a habit, and also doesn't matter how much effort I put into, I can never overcome it.
Yeah.
I can, by putting myself into more uncomfortable situations, I might start getting comfortable with it, but it will never go away. It will always be there.
Yeah.
And people start to learn about the different things, you know, such as when they are tired, they should not speak. So we learn about different things, how we can control it, but there is no proper magic that can eliminate stuttering completely from your body, from your life.
And yeah, that's absolutely true. But we do know that if the child actually gets in really early, and that at preschool age, so between 2 years to about 6 years of age, we do have treatment that is really effective at that point. And at that point, you can eliminate stuttering.
Yes.
But once, as you say, once it becomes chronic, you know, once the child's at school age, adolescent, adult, you can't eliminate it. It's about trying to find a way to manage it, as you say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the factors I think is that there is no government support available, you know.
Yeah.
There is no Medicare, right? It's
There actually is Medicare support. So depending on what the difficulty is, there is Medicare support where you get some support for 5 sessions.
Yes. What are 5 sessions?
Exactly. Absolutely.
It goes in a month.
Absolutely. How can you treat a stutter in 5 sessions?
Yeah. So there is no government support available.
And
there is
again,
no Medicare. You know, if I have to go to doctor, I can go to doctor 5 times a week.
Exactly.
Whereas if I go to speech pathology 5 times a week, I cannot go for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. And the Medicare doesn't even cover the whole session, it covers a portion of the session. And if you're going through the health system where there's no gap, you have to wait on a wait list. So that means that if a child who stutters, you want to get in early and treat the stutter and stop the practice of the stutter. If the child has to wait 12 months to get in, the chance of them recovering decreases to 6%.
So there is no government support available in a technical basis, means compared to other causes, how they are funded. Stuttering is just, no one cares about stuttering except people who have a stutter.
Yeah. Really interesting reflection.
And I think people who stutter, you know, they have to come out and actually say that yes, we want help, we want support, and we have to make an initiative in the first point.
Absolutely. And be
to get the support.
Of course, and be your own advocates, and like what you're doing, you know you'll want to develop that awareness and advocate for yourself and for other people who stutter. And you know, as you say, if more people actually do the same thing, maybe then more people will be aware of it in the general community.
Yes.
And the government will start listening too.
Yes. Definitely. Means last year I went to one of the members of parliaments. And I actually requested her to speak about International Stuttering Awareness Day, and she mentioned in her speech in the Parliament House.
Okay. Wow.
And you know, I do a few different things to, if I meet someone, and you know, I did make a few videos last year, and I was invited as a guest on one podcast as well. So I do my bit
Mm-hmm.
to create awareness
Mhm.
because, and I don't hesitate to label myself as someone who has a stutter.
Mhm.
And if someone does not want to work with me, don't like me, that's fine. I don't want them either.
Of course, absolutely. It's if they can't deal with some small feature of a person that makes them not perfect when
Yeah.
they probably not perfect themselves, it's their
Yeah.
own problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other final reflections that you'd like to share with us?
I think one of the final reflection may be that it did taught me a lot about me and about other people. Means I think I built a lot of different things, developed empathy
Mm-hmm.
and patience, and I think so there are few things which I learned about me that you can overcome anything. There is a 10,000 hour magic formula. If you work for 10,000 hours on anything, you can be perfect in it.
Of course.
And this was the thing which I did 2-3 years ago. I worked 25 hours per week for
Wow.
1 year straight.
Wow.
I used to go to speakeasy, 2 Toastmasters clubs. That one I used to also do some volunteering work. So I committed 20-25 hours per week just on my speech, and after 1 year there was a huge difference. So I would just say that you have to get out there and ask for help
Mm-hmm.
and put the effort, and you can overcome anything. And it does not apply to only people who stutter, but it doesn't matter who you are, what problem you have, you
Absolutely.
can overcome it.
Absolutely. And I think, with you putting in all that effort, it might look different for someone else. Maybe someone else with a stutter, maybe they need to work on actually accepting they have a
Yeah.
stutter. And no two journeys will be the same.
No,
But it's about acknowledging it and doing something about it, whatever it might be. Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you, Karin. I really appreciate it, and thank you for having me here today. And it was great to have a chat about it, and means ahead of the International Stuttering Awareness Day. And I hope that it helps at least one person.
Absolutely. And we do feel really privileged to have you here. Chahak's been at the Curtin Clinic and he's had the experience with treatment. He's made amazing improvements in all aspects of his life, not only with his stuttering severity. So yeah, we're really privileged to have the opportunity, and we hope that it reaches the community.
Thank you, Karin. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.